Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first Michigan Athena event of 2023. My name is Leah Robinson, and I'm the director of Michigan Athena. And we are so thrilled to have you here with us this morning and to have the opportunity to connect you with an incredibly inspiring presentation from such a dynamic speaker, Mimi Brown. No matter if you are a returning participant or if this is your first Michigan Athena event, thank you for joining us. Michigan Athena is a statewide women's leadership organization housed here within the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, and we focus on providing free, accessible resources for women in their personal and professional growth. We want to make sure that every woman in the Great Lakes state knows and leads with their own unique leadership style and feels empowered to reach new heights from entry level to executive. During today's event, please feel free to participate in the chat box, which can be found at the bottom of your screen. The Michigan Athena community is very active in the chat box, so don't be shy. We are here to learn and grow together. Additionally, if you have any questions you'd like Mimi to answer during the Q&A portion of today's program, you can drop those questions in the chat as well. Please make sure that when you are participating in the chat box, that you have recipients set to everyone and not just hosts and panelists. Also, make sure that you stay tuned until the end of today's program for a special giveaway from Davenport University. Davenport, who's a long-standing educational sponsor for Michigan Athena, is generously giving away one free enrollment into the university's Certificate of Management program. During the 6-session program, our lucky winner will learn their own personal leadership style, how to impact motivation, how to communicate without confusion, and so many more necessary topics to unleash the leader in you. So make sure you stick around until the end of our event today. Last, but certainly not least, we could not offer such transformational resources for women across the state without the support of our amazing dedicated sponsors. So I'd first like to thank our presenting sponsors, Consumers Energy and Lake Trust, our gold sponsors, Perigo and Hastings Mutual Insurance Company, our silver sponsors, Ice Mountain and Lansing Board of Water and Light, our supporting sponsor, West Shore Bank, and of course, our educational partner, Davenport University. Again, thank you to our sponsors. Your commitment truly changes lives. Now I'll turn it over to one of our presenting sponsors, Megan Hayward, who is the Director of Enterprise, Resource, and Workforce Planning for Consumers Energy. Megan, take it away.
Thank you, Leah. It's an honor for Consumers Energy to be a presenting sponsor for the Michigan Athena Series. I'm Megan Hayward, and on behalf of our full team, thank you for joining today. You may read on my marquee sign behind me, I'm asking what energizes you. So for me personally, I'm an engineer at Consumers Energy, and I've been wonderfully supported through the development of my career and journey. And what continues to inspire me is the ability and privilege to support amazing talent and the pipeline in Michigan that we have for all the generation of the women who are following in our footsteps and to start them on their own journey. Specifically, I had the unique opportunity to support STEM students that are rising through robotics. These middle school and high school students, they're creative, they're resilient, they're charting the course to be team and community leaders. Then I'm also engaged with our engineering interns. We're encouraging them to develop and foster continuous learning through their experiences. And then finally, I serve on our Women's Engineering Network as a steering committee member. It's one of our 2 women-focused business employee resource groups. And I'm just continuously energized by mentoring and advocating for women in our industry. So Consumers Energy thanks you for your presence today. You're going to be inspired by our fabulous keynote speaker. And I hope you reflect on really what energizes you today and throughout the rest of this week. So please welcome our next wonderful partner and presenting sponsor from Lake Trust with their Senior Vice President of Member Experience and Business Development, Teresa Dubiel.
Thank you, Megan. Lake Trust Credit Union is proud to be co-presenting sponsor of this fabulous series. At Lake Trust, we continue to lift one another, empower financial well-being in our communities with our members and our team members, and look for ways to multiply positive impact. You'll see Lake Trust throughout many communities in Michigan. Thank you for joining us this morning. I have the honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Are you ready to be inspired and empowered to unleash your best self? Want to know how to kick obstacles to the curb and skyrocket your self-esteem? Could you benefit from learning how to build resilience and bounce back from setbacks? If you said yes, you're going to be glad that you're here. Our speaker today is a former contestant on NBC's The Biggest Loser, a media personality on WDIV's Live L.O.U.D, and the author of the book, Amp Up Your Success, 52 Tips Every Leader Should Know. When she's not traveling the country speaking, you can find her sipping on an extra hot caramel macchiato from Starbucks, stealing kisses from her snobby cats, Kitty Brown and Macy Gray, or releasing her frustrations through her daily kickboxing class. Because being caught kicking mean people in the face is frowned upon. Let's give a warm welcome to our speaker from Farmington Hills, Michigan. Inspirational speaker, coach, and Girl Scout cookie junkie, Mimi Brown.
Thank you, Teresa. So you heard in my introduction that I love Girl Scout cookies, and you know how this goes. Hi, my name is Mimi, and I'm addicted to cookies, or more specifically, Thin Mints. But I have to mention this to someone in another audience a few weeks back, and about an hour later, I see Sarah waving her hands in the air. Okay, well, it wasn't that version, but she was waving a box of Thin Mints. She produced one of my favorite cookies because she was a Girl Scout cookie leader. And so the strangest thing has been happening since I mentioned that cookies have just been showing up everywhere. I don't know. I just have boxes of cookies like all flowing around me, stacked in my office, and I don't have the foggiest idea how they're getting there. So today, I want to encourage you that if you are inspired by something that you hear, I want you to share. I want you to give us a shout out to Michigan Athena. I know they are on Instagram, also on Facebook, and tag me, because here's my goal today. I believe in everything that you do, you need to set intention. And my intention is really clear. I want to give you the tools, the strategies, and the techniques to help you live your life loud. Turn the volume up on who you want to be, so you can do and have the things that you desire. And so in order to do that, we're going to start off with your priorities. So grab a piece of paper, grab a marker, grab your Kylie Jenner, shout out to Leah, who wears fabulous lip gloss like me, but whatever you have as a writing utensil or a piece of paper in front of you, I just want you to list your top 5 priorities. Take the next 30 seconds or so, list your top 5 priorities. What are the things that are on your priority list? And I'll give you another 20 seconds to do so. What are your top 5 priorities? Now you can feel free in a moment if you want to throw those things inside the chat. I know Leah is commanding the chat for us. I won't be able to see them right away, but what you come up with inside the chat, what are those 5 priorities that are most important to you? Now, if you're anything like some of my audiences when I've done this before, taking the kids to school every day, ensuring that I jump on my daily operating call, making sure that I prep dinner for the day, ensuring that work gets done, that project that I'm working on is at the top of that priority list. But here's the thing, out of all the things on your priority list, did you list yourself? Where did you show up? Because here's the thing, ladies, like we can't give what we don't have. We can't pour from an empty cup. We can't be these superstar women and saving the day for everyone else if we're not taking care of ourselves. And so over the next short amount of time that we have together today, make this about you. Take away all the distractions. Stop the email for a minute. Put that handy little device away as your phone and take this time and focus on you. Now I want you to imagine for a moment that the goal or desire that you have, the biggest goal and desire you have in your heart is right above you, and all you got to do is reach for it. Now, some of you might be playing from the comfort of your own home or office. You might have folks around, you may not. But I just want you to reach really quick. I want you to reach up, and I want you to imagine that that thing that you desire is there. Just reach for it. Now I might need you just to reach just a little bit further. You might have to stretch yourself and get on your tiptoes. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Oh, Mimi, it's too early for the stretching thing, lady. I wasn't ready for that. Or if maybe you're around with your colleagues, you might be looking around and going, I'm not doing that. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard of. But here's what I know. Where we put our attention is where things flow from. When we stretch ourselves and we reach beyond what we think is possible, and we step outside of our conventional way of thinking, that's when we grow. Sometimes we look at other people to decide what we should be doing when the answer is internal. What if that thing that you really wanted was right there and all you had to do was reach a little bit higher? What would that do for your life? My intention is to help you make a shift today. Shift the way that you think about yourself, your career, your business, support you in creating powerful new mindsets, empower you to think bigger and play bigger, elevate you to think differently. Because the people who change the world, ladies of Michigan, Athena, don't do so by shrinking. They don't do so by looking around and see what everybody else is doing if they look silly. They do it by stepping outside of their comfort zone. So my goal today is to hold you to your highest good and give you the permission to build the momentum you need to truly create huge results and outcomes in your life. My intention is to make you comfortable with being uncomfortable. And part of that journey starts with the first part of the LOUD acronym, which is to lead with intention. So you might have heard this statement before. An intention is a statement that directs attention towards a goal. It helps us guide our thoughts and our actions. And it's a powerful way to direct our actions, which become our habits. And, I'm a big reader. At any given time, I have about 5 or 6 books between my Kindle and sitting on my nightstand. And for the second time, I'm reading James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. If you're not familiar, Atomic Habits is all about the process you use to create habits that help support where you want to go in your life. And there's one of my favorite parts. And by the way, let me also mention this. When you read a book for the second time, you see things in a way you didn't see it before. So I highly recommend to folks, if you said, I've already read that, read it again. You'll have new insights because when you read it the first time, you were in a different place in your life or your career. And now that you're here, maybe you see some things that you didn't see before that will help you in the next step of your journey. And I know that reading James Clear's book did that for me because he talks about belief. And so there's this intersection between intention and belief. And James Clear says, in order to set lasting habits, we have to argue, we need to shift our beliefs about ourselves and our abilities. And our beliefs are so powerful because they are the foundation that help us with our mindset. Our beliefs really become the foundations of our actions and ultimately the foundation for our success. If you don't believe me, as Leah so eloquently announced that she wanted you to stay on for the Davenport Scholarship giveaway, how many of you said, oh, I'm going to win that? Probably not as many as said, oh, I never win anything. They never choose me. I'm never the one to win. That's part of your belief system. It's what's playing in the background for you. And as you lead with intention, it's important to align where you want to go with who you want to be. I believe I'm always going to win. I put it out there. I remember I was getting ready. I was selected for this coaching program I was in, and they had a big kickoff program with about 400 women in the audience. And she was going to do a hot seat with someone live on stage. As I'm sitting at the table with these 8 other women, I start to grab my lip gloss. And I just so gingerly start to put my lip gloss on. And the ladies at the table said, "What are you doing?" As I straightened out my blouse and stood up. I said, "They're about to call my name. I'm going to go on that stage." And they said, "Well, how do you know that?" I just know it. I led with intention. I knew I put my attention on what I wanted to focus on in that moment. And as I stood up, she said, "I want to welcome to the stage, Mimi Brown." Now, does it always happen that way? No. But what you focus on expands. You see, Oprah says that we should create the highest, grandest vision for our lives because we become what we believe. But we have to get in alignment with what our belief system is. Do you believe in the things that are coming out of you? Do you believe in yourself? And part of it is, as we get ready, as we transition and think about our belief system, one of the key components of that belief system that I think is vital to helping you get in alignment with that is something I learned from my coach called the be, do, have. And it's a be, do, have is a concept that suggests in order for you to achieve results or outcomes, you must first focus on who you're being, your mindset, your attitude, and your beliefs, which will then lead to the actions of doing that will help you achieve your desired outcomes and ultimately what you have in your life. Think about how many folks, that have a lot of things. They have a lot of money, cars, prestige, but they are miserable people. They did it backwards. They didn't focus on who they needed to show up as, what mindset, what attitude, what belief system do I have that leads you down that path. My coach also taught me that what you focus on expands. And he says you have something in your brain that's actually working to your advantage, and it's called your reticular activating system. It's called, or RAS for short. It's a network of cells in the brain that help you pay attention to important things and filter out the distractions. Did you know that you have something like 60,000 thoughts that flow through your mind in a day? How do you know? How does your brain know what to focus on? Because you tell it what to focus on, but what you're putting your attention to. This is how RAS works in real life. Let's say that you decide you want that shiny Cadillac SRX or XT5. And suddenly you see XT5 floating around everywhere. Have they always been there? Absolutely. Did you notice them? No, until you programmed yourself to see it. And that's because you activated that part of your brain to give attention there. It's the same reason why you're in a crowded room and you hear your name, Mimi or Megan or Leah or Stephanie, and you turn around because you're programmed to know your name. You're programmed to know what that sound sounds like. I speak for a living. Let's say that you set a new goal. Maybe you want to start a business, and then all of a sudden you see all these opportunities popping up. Maybe Michigan Athena sent out a leadership series. You're like, oh, that's in alignment with where I want to be. Or you get something in the mail that says free seminar on how to start a business from Oakland County. Did that happen by chance? No, it happened because that's where you put your attention. And the key is to be intentional about it. You see, my coach, when I started working with him, he started teaching me this, he gave me an assignment. He said, Mimi, I can't prove this works. Only you can prove it to yourself. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a little bit of an assignment. I want you to choose something that's so specific that you know that you've done the work, that you put your attention and energy and you led with intention on what you wanted, but general enough where it feels like it's easy to come to fruition. Now, there's a lot of you on the call. Some of you have seen me speak before, and I've had a chance to either interact with, and y'all might not know this, but I got a weight problem. I can't wait to eat. So I'm very motivated by food. And I said to myself, you know what? I want my lunch to be paid for. So I go to work, and I'm actually working at Consumers Energy at the time. Shout out to Megan Hayward and CE. And there I am sitting at my cube. By the way, have you worked in a cube with the illusion of privacy? You have all these walls and, ceiling. But one of my coworkers walks over to me and says, hey, Mimi, would you like to go out to lunch? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm to myself with my coach and what we talked about, this is it. This is that moment. So we go to Chipotle. And if you have been standing in line with us at Chipotle, you would have seen him start adding things onto his burrito bowl. He got the chicken and the sour cream and the fajitas. And as he gets to the register, he pays, his order comes to $8.42. He pays for his food, but he doesn't pay for mine. I'm like, talked about. My vision at that point just halted. And I go, And so in that moment, I let it go. And I'm going to talk about the importance of letting it go in a bit. But I let it go and I just started to order my food. So I added things onto my burrito bowl. I get to the register. My order comes to $9.42. I got extra chicken. Don't judge me. And as we're sitting down, enjoying our meal, about 20 minutes later, we get up. And if you have been standing on the other side of that door, of this big, beautiful glass door of Chipotle, you would have saw a crisp $10 bill laying on the ground. Did I get my food paid for that day? Absolutely. Did it come in the form that I thought it was? Nope. But that's because it's an important lesson. When we lead with intention, when we set our goals, when we're starting to look at whatever our belief system is about ourselves, here's the most important lesson of today, ladies. The how is none of your business. Your goal is to get focused on what you want, not how it's going to come to fruition. See, we talk ourselves out of our goals and our dreams because we can't see the pathway. You only need to be able to see the next step in front of it in order to achieve it. I guarantee you that day that if I stood in line and not let go, that my coworker didn't pay for my food, I would have never saw that $10 bill on the ground. But opportunities are always around us. We shortchange ourselves because we get short-sighted. I'm going to say that again. We shortchange ourselves because we get short-sighted. It didn't happen in the way that we thought that it should. So we go, guess it wasn't meant to be. Now, there could have been several ways that I could have gotten my lunch paid for that day. Not only my coworker, but I could have reached out in my pants pocket and found a $10 bill. I could have been the 10th Chipotle customer that day and go, the person in front of my coworker could have paid me for me or the person behind me. But we block our blessings, we block our abilities when we only think that it comes in the way that we think that it should. Get out of the how and get to the what. What do you want? What's the thing that makes your heart sing? And start walking in that direction. And it's right in our pathway. It's very possible, but we have to believe it. We have to believe it with every part of ourselves. And so here's a couple lessons that I learned from working with my coach. Stretch, don't splatter. Like when you get ready to focus on something, prove yourself that it works. I guarantee you, one of you, and I hope you're doing it right now, you are saying to yourself, you're closing your eyes and you're saying that Davenport scholarship is coming to me. You can visualize the success. You can see them saying, hey, they're calling your name. Also, let it flow by letting it go. When one door closes, another one opens. Don't get caught and marred in the how that you set up for yourself. Get caught in what you want. Say it loud and write it down. Do you know that you're 40% more likely to hit your goals simply by writing them down? Put them on paper and then take action on it. That action part is so imperative. We wish and we dream and we reach for things, but we don't take the steps in order to make it happen. Start walking towards your dreams and goals and desires. Start taking action on them when it feels good. What's that next step that I need to do? Maybe it's a phone call. Hey, maybe it's going to Chipotle. And it didn't transform in the way that you thought, or in that moment, the pathway didn't open the way that you thought. So when you lead with intention, it's really powerful to live life really loudly. The next that we'll talk about as we live loud is how to own your swag. And I remember AJ. So AJ walks into my office on a Tuesday afternoon as I'm getting ready to wrap up. I look out the corner of my eye and she's not her normal jovial self. She looks deflated, defeated, and quite frankly, disgusted. The triple D, worse than Dunkin' Donuts, decaf. Any Starbucks people in the audience? She sat down at my desk. She said, Mimi, I am so tired. I'm so exhausted from people taking my ideas. If I sit in a staff meeting one more time and I don't get credit for the work that I do, I swear I'm gonna quit. Have you ever been there before? Have you ever been in a job or a position where you didn't feel appreciated, valued, or respected? And I asked AJ that day, I said, what do you want to do? And without missing a beat, she said, you know what? I could really see myself as a director of diversity. She knew in her mind that that's what her goal was. She said it without thinking. See, here's her background. She had all of the things, as the kids say. She had degrees. She had a master's degree, an MBA. She had a law degree that specialized in HR, but here she was in this entry-level HR position that she couldn't seem to maneuver herself out of. And as she sat in my office chair and started dreaming about what was possible, she had a roadblock because she said, you know what, Mimi, I don't even know why I'm kidding myself. I can't be director of diversity. That person has been in their role forever. I don't even know where I'm kidding myself. Have you ever talked yourself out of your dream before you even took the first step? And so I gave AJ some advice. I said, AJ, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get an attitude of gratitude. I want you to take the next month and every day, once a day, I want you to find one thing you can be grateful for in your job. She said, you must don't understand. I don't like my job. I said, but that's the key. You have to elevate, congratulate when it comes to your gratitude. You have to have that attitude of gratitude. And so she started to do that. Now, we're going to put that story on pause because there was another part of this experience with AJ that was astounding, because as I started to think through with AJ's situation, I could not for the life of me figure out why she could make her way up in her career. She had all the education. She was highly respected. And then I jumped in the car on my way home from the office, put on my seatbelt, turned on my favorite station, and out popped the answer. Okay, well, in the form of song. It was the patron saint, Soulja Boy. And if you're not familiar, the song goes, I hopped out the bed and I turned my swag on. I looked in the mirror, I said, what's up, hey? Okay, Soulja Boy, he makes a lot more money to sing that song a lot better than I do, but you got the gist of it. But he says, I hopped out the bed and I turned my swag on. Now, swag is typically a hip hop terminology. It's short for swagger, and swagger typically means the way that we carry ourselves. You look at someone and say, oh, she's got swag. You look at someone as they walk down the street, you'll see their style and the way they dress. Oh, that person has swag. But I think swag goes even deeper than that. And I think that was the piece that AJ was missing when she couldn't move up in her career. And swag, as I define it, is the courage and confidence to unapologetically and authentically be who you are. So you might also know swag as stuff we all get. You know, the swag bags that you get, and when you go to a conference and they put all the tchotchkes and the pens and the lip balm and the notebooks in your bag. But just like we collect swag at an event, I believe we have swag we've collected that makes us who we are, because swag is also stuff we've all got. The key is we have to take inventory of it. Ladies in Michigan Athena, when was the last time you took inventory of what makes you great? So often we get caught in our day-to-day where we don't really stop to say, how awesome am I? It seems self-serving because that's sometimes how we're conditioned by the world. We have these extremes where you know that person who brags about how awesome they are, but that's just that, an extreme. When was the last time you just said, here's what I'm really good at and I'm proud of it, and took ownership of it? So I want to take you through what I call the short swag inventory. And swag is an acronym for success, which is listing your accomplishments and your achievements. What was the last thing you were really proud of? What did someone recognize you for and said that you kicked butt at achieving? What wisdom do you have? What jobs, education, life experiences, and upbringing shaped who you are? Your outlook on life, your values, the direction that you take. Next is, what activities and experiences bring you energy? There's a lot to be said that when we work in our area of flow, we're able to go to higher heights because we're focused in on what brings us energy. And then lastly, gifts. Donna Clifton, one of the founders of the happiness psychology movement, said, we typically ask the wrong question. Instead of asking what's wrong with people, why don't we ask what's right with people and put our energy and our attention there? In his book, Strength Finders 2.0, he chronicles 34 strengths that we all have, 5 that we use on a regular basis. The research says that when you are involved in your strengths, you get to celebrate those strengths, you get to use those strengths, you are 7 times more likely to be happier and engaged at work. So my question for you is, how are you owning your swag? When was the last time you took inventory of what makes you great? And then how are you communicating that to the world? See, a lot of times when I get to this part of the program, people go, well, that's nice, Mimi. That's all good, but I don't have time for that. I gotta jump to whatever activity I'm working on. And you let your inner critic come in and tear down your inventory. You're not putting your belief system in alignment with the intention that you have. Your inner critic is powerful. It'll talk you out of doing things. I know mine sits on my shoulder and goes, you're not worthy. But you have to learn how to silence that inner critic. And one of the ways I've learned to silence is with something I learned from Mr. Lublin. Mr. Lublin was my 7th grade teacher. He was our 7th grade social studies teacher at Levy Middle School. And there I am in 6th period. And at the start of every class, to my annoyance, we would start off with this statement: I am the best. I am the best me. I'm the best that I can be. I used to hate that. This is so dumb, is what I was thinking in my head. I didn't say it out loud because my mama taught me to be polite, but I didn't love it. But class at 6th period, at the start of 6th period, he would say, I'm the best. I'm the best me. I'm the best me that I can be. I did not know that Mr. Lublin was shaping my belief system about myself and every other person in that class. You see, what's happening is it's playing in the back of your mind. We talked about that reticular activating system earlier. It is putting that reticular activating system in alignment with your thoughts. I'm the best. I'm the best me. I'm the best me that I can be. They're also known as affirmations. Now, I know you've heard of affirmations before. I'm beautiful. I'm confident. I'm amazing. And you go, well, that sounds nice. But when I look in the mirror, I don't believe it. And I would tend to agree with you. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I go, I am amazing. That's a lie today. I'm capable. But what I've learned and what the new research supports is that when you pair an I am statement and affirmation with an activity, it helps raise not only your self-love, your self-efficacy, but also of your self-acceptance. You're putting action with it. Make it a ritual. Make it a part of your belief system. Every day when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, I have a list of affirmations that are on my bathroom window. I use it as an activity every day for 2 minutes. I have a confession to make. I'm not the greatest. I had to get a toothbrush to remind me to keep brushing for 2 minutes. Don't judge me. It's been a long day. But that's an activity for 2 minutes every day. I start to brush my teeth, and that activity is what vamps it in my mind. One of my affirmations is money comes to me with ease in all different forms. I'm a money magnet. That was my affirmation for the past couple months. But when you pair an affirmation with an activity, that action helps it root into who you are. So the next time you're feeling in a space, and I give this recommendation to a lot of people who are getting ready to give presentations, create a ritual. It's called a touchstone. Pair your affirmation with something that you want to do and allow that affirmation to lead the activity. Right before I got ready to speak, I take a moment and I have an affirmation. I am powerful, I'm amazing, and I actually stretch with it. It helps me get into that mind frame. Pair your affirmations. So far we've talked about the importance of leading with intention, owning your swag. And the next is getting uncomfortable. So in 2005, my family and I were fortunate enough to be contestants on NBC's The Biggest Loser. And as we slid, as I lost 100, we lost 185 pounds as a family. I lost 50 by myself. I decided, what do you do when you lose weight? You get in a beauty pageant. Well, it kind of happened by accident. I was walking down the hallway and I see a sign that says, hey, if you love speaking and money, come join us. 2 things that I enjoy doing, if you haven't noticed. And I opt to go to the very first day of pageant practice. And so there I am, and I meet the pageant director, Raven. And as soon as Raven begins to talk, I know I've made a mistake. She says, ladies, you'll be responsible for walking in 2 3-inch heels, showing us, dazzling us with your talent, and parading around in a 2-piece bathing suit. Heels? Heels. My only heels were my elevated basketball shoes at that point. Talent? The only talent I had was eating a Whopper Jr. in 2.5 seconds flat. I got an award for it, and I'm very proud of my mother's refrigerator. And then, and 2-piece bathing suit. I mean, I had just lost weight, but I was not ready to go around in a bathing suit yet. And I said to myself, oh, this is not going to work. So what she encouraged us to do, she said, hey, we're going to give you a little taste of what pageant practice will be like. Grab your heels. We're going to take you through an activity. I can't tell you how many times I wobbled and fell almost flat on my face. Towards the end of pageant practice, that day I looked at Raven, I said, this was nice, but I'm not coming back. This isn't for me. And she looked at me and she said something that forever changed the way that I looked at myself. She said, okay, but show up again tomorrow. What? Did you not, you might have not heard me. I said, I'm not coming back. This isn't for me. She said, I heard you, just show up and I'll see you again tomorrow. She said, and then she sent me, she called me right before practice and said, Mimi, I'll see you again right tonight at 6. Just show up. And sometimes we have to latch on in other people's belief in ourselves until ours kicks in. And so I did what Raven said. I just showed up, and I kept showing up for 12 weeks. And at the end of 12 weeks, I looked up and it was the night of the pageant. And as I was sitting in my, I was sitting and watching my mirror and putting on my mascara. And I leaned in and I thought to myself, wow, over the course of the last 12 weeks, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned how to walk in heels. I've learned how to proudly walk around in a 2-piece bathing suit. I even had a talent that I didn't even know existed. Why? Because I kept showing up. And so as we walked on the stage that night, we grabbed the hands of the other ladies around us. And I knew that it didn't matter whose name they called next because I was already a winner. And as the announcer said, second runner-up in the Miss Black and Gold pageant, I closed my eyes. They didn't say my name. A sense of relief came over me. First runner-up in the Miss Black and Gold pageant. I closed my eyes again and relief and terror because he didn't say my name again. And as he said, the 2005 Miss Black and Gold winner is, and my hearing just started to go. And I feel the weight of the 2 ladies next to me pulling me up as they placed the crown on my head and the sash around my shoulder. I am Miss Black and Gold 2005. When I became comfortable with being uncomfortable, when I just decided to show up for me, just like when you show up for you, amazing things happen. Ladies, the next time you're faced in a situation where it feels uncomfortable, do it anyway. Success happens on the other side of comfort. It's interesting. So for a long time, I took my sash and I hung it on the side of my door to remind me of my journey through pageant life. And it's interesting because the G has fallen off So now I'm just Miss Black and old. So the last part of our journey takes me back to my DJ years. So there I was on my high school radio station, WSHJ 88.3 FM, Big Bang. Okay, I sounded as corny then as I do now, but hey, I was 16. So there was, I just got an on-air position on my high school radio station, and I was ready for my very first day on air. And I had just gone through massive training, so I knew I was ready to take on this challenge. I was doing a hip hop and R&B old school show, and my name was GJ. You can see why that might have been problematic. So there I am, my very first day on air. Everything is going well for the first 2 hours of my 2.5 hour show. And then it happens. Dead air. Dead air sounds a lot like this. That's dead air. The worst thing that can happen in radio. See, at that moment, I started to panic. They didn't. The manual, you see, what I realized a little bit earlier is the CD started to skip, and I didn't know what to do. And so I grabbed any CD that I could find, and I threw it in the player. I hit play. Did I mention this was a hip hop and R&B show? Amazing Grace by Lee Greenwood came on my show. Imagine at 16 years old how you would feel. You would be mortified. And you see, I told everybody in my school and my family, I'm going to be on the air and you got to listen to my show. I mean, I had hundreds and thousands. Okay, I had 3 listeners, my mom and the 2 cats. But then it got worse. Then the phone lines began to light up. WSHJ, DJ Flawless speaking. It was my mama. This music. Yes, Mom. DJ Flawless just died. I was so done. This was my big moment. Like this was supposed to be it for me. And I stunk it up, something terrible. I was so mortified and so embarrassed that I didn't even finish the show. I snuck out the back door and went over and walked home. And about an hour later, I show up at my back door and I can see my mother at the kitchen stove making my favorite meal, fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. And as she's at the stove, she says, "Flawless, huh?" But if you had been with my mother and me just a few minutes later, sitting on our green leather sofa with the smell of macaroni and cheese and chicken in the background, you would have heard her say something that absolutely changed your life. She said, "Mimi, I know you're ready to quit, but there's no quit in you. You're going to have obstacles. You're going to have things that get in your way, but you never know what obstacle will lead you to your success." She said, "Mimi Brown, I have a very important question for you. Are you going to let this moment define you, or are you going to define the moment?" At 16, I never thought about this being a defining moment. I just knew that I wasn't going back to that school. She said, "Mimi, sometimes you have to reinvent yourself." And reinvent myself is exactly what I did. After a little sabbatical from school, you can imagine why. I went back a few weeks later and restarted or reintroduced myself as DJ Candy because I'm sweet. Little did I know the decision to define that moment in a positive way for me would define the next 10 years of my life. How? Because in that moment, when I decided to say yes to me, yes to failure that will lead to a success, I DJ'd my way through the rest of high school, DJ'd my way through college. I've owned not 1, not 2, but 3 DJ companies. And I owe that to my mother, who reminded me to not let a moment define who I was in that instant, but I could define it for the rest of my lifetime. So the next time you're faced in a situation where you're failing, don't give up. Reintroduce the world to who you are. Define that moment and make that moment work for you. Now, I hope that, and in the chat box, give me some love if you found one thing that you can take advantage of, one thing that inspired you to take a different step. If so, I would love for you to pick up your phone, scan the QR code, and give me some feedback about today's session. And as my thank you to that, I'm going to give you a little worksheet called the 10 hacks to use affirmations to create massive change in your life. Just 10 little things that you can do to use affirmations to help you grow. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Leah, because Leah.
Hi, Miss Mimi.
Huh?
Thank you so much for that. I've been sitting here writing down, I have 2 pages of notes in front of me, just so you know. And I can honestly say that I've had times in my life where I truly used the define that moment, and it led to incredible things. So thank you for everything that you've said here today. I do have 2 questions for you that I feel like you could shed some light on. First, if you're taking the steps to live your life out loud, what should your support system look like? So who should you surround yourself with?
So, because we didn't have a whole lot of time together today, I didn't get a chance to get into who we surround ourselves with. But so Jim Rohn says we're the average of the 5 people we spend most of our time with. So look at the folks who are they doing the things that you want to do? Are they in alignment with the values and belief systems that you have? Are they talking to themselves kindly? And the way, can you mirror and adopt and adapt what they're doing in their lives? I think your support system is so important. I have a business mastermind, a group of 2 other speakers. We're known as the 7-Figure Sisters. And we have been together going on 7 years, and we support each other to each other's highest good. Here's the thing when you have a support group. Do you have a truth teller in the group? Somebody who will tell you when you're not standing in your purpose. And I think that's important. And when they do it with love? And do they do it gently? Like, you don't want anybody beating you upside the head, but do they do it with love? And then will they be a truth teller for you? So I hope that was helpful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then secondly, someone said, you seem so confident. What do you do in the times when you're feeling insecure, and how do you get through that?
Yeah, I have insecure moments all the time. And once again, I'm going to go back to my support system. I have those people that I know I can talk to that will help talk me off the ledge. As one of my friends, Jess Pettit, says, she's a DE&I expert. She says, Mimi, I can either talk you on the ledge or off the ledge. What would you prefer? But it's having those people in your corner who will help remind you of who you are. And I have to have regular connections. The other thing is, what are your daily rituals look like? So I typically, and I don't do it every day, but most days, I'm meditating. I am getting outside of my own head. The other question to ask yourself is, what are you reading that helps support you? Like, just like I mentioned, I have 5 books on my nightstand at any given time. What are you putting into your spirit? Because that makes a difference in your confidence. Who are you listening to? Like, I listen to podcasts when I'm doing my makeup, things that inspire me so that I can keep going to inspire other people. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, before I let you close it out, do you have some examples of books that you read or podcasts that you're obsessed with?
Yes, let me actually pull up my Audible right now. So the book I'm reading right now is How to Change by Caddy. Oh, hold on, let me go back to my library. Let's see, all my titles. So Influence is Power, is Your Superpower by Zoe Chance is a great one. Atomic Habits, of course. Essentialism by Greg McKeown is awesome. The Confidence Code by Katie Kay and Claire Schiffman is excellent, especially if you have children. It teaches you how to talk to your kids in a way that helps them boost their confidence, and it's not in the way that you would think. And what's my other one? Oh, my favorite, Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass, and You're a Badass at Making Money. So those are some of my favorite ones.
Well, thank you so much. I'll let you close out your presentation.
All right. Thank you, Leah. And thank you for the great questions, everyone. So as we put a bow on this message today, brag a little bit. So imagine for a moment that you are on a trip of a lifetime to see your Shiro of a lifetime. If you had been with me on the Delta Airlines flight to San Francisco, California, you would have heard the pilot get over the airways and say, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure your seats remain fastened. I was moving my feet so happily that they thought the airplane was going to come down because I was going to meet the one, the only Oprah Winfrey. There I was in downtown San Francisco at the newly minted Chase Center for the inaugural event of the Oprah Live Your Life 2020 tour. The energy in the arena was electric. There were 15,000 screaming people ready to plug into the Oprah Winfrey experience. And there I was, third row from the stage, 2 seats from the center aisle. And I was there with my one special lady, my mom. We were there to celebrate a milestone birthday, and my dad gifted this trip to her in honor of that. Now, because I value my life, I won't tell you which birthday we were celebrating, but I can tell you that it was a magical experience. And it was interesting because I'm not often mesmerized by someone. As a professional speaker, I go all over the country and the world, and I get a chance to experience some pretty phenomenal people. But I was hanging on Oprah's every word. A little bit of her sweat came down and I let it rain. And Oprah said something to me that day that forever changed my life. And I hope that it gives you a perspective on your life and your impact in the world. She said, I have produced the Oprah Show for 25 years. I've interviewed 37,500 and something people from all different walks of life. She said, I've interviewed heads of state like former President Barack Obama, spiritual leaders like the Dalai Lama, and celebrity entertainers like Queen Beyonce herself. No disrespect to you, single ladies. And she said to a person after every interview, people would lean in and ask, how did I do? How did that go? What do you think? Oprah says she took that to mean that no matter your status or your stature in this world, that every single person wants to feel acknowledged. They want to feel heard. And it doesn't matter who we are. We don't have to be Oprah Winfrey to allow someone to be acknowledged or feel valued or feel heard. We could simply say a kind word to someone. And so what I want to encourage you as you live in your life loudly, as you're turning up the volume on who you are and what you want to do, don't forget to bring other people along with you. Pour into their cup by saying a kind word. I can't tell you what it means to folks when someone will stop and just say, you know, you look amazing today, or that was fantastic, or a simple, thank you for the work that you do. Little words, little sentiments can go a long way. It has been Michigan Athena. It's been my absolute pleasure. I want to thank the team who allowed this to happen. First and foremost, to Stephanie Young, who is working in the background. You don't see her, but we have those unsung heroes. And Amanda Toy, who will be closing out our event in a little bit. Also, to our sponsors, thank you for making this possible. And I want to give a special shout out to Leah Robinson, who is a dream to work with, uber professional and also fun. And you have to also ask her about her lipstick game. It's pretty fierce. So can we get her in the house? But it's been my absolute pleasure. And now I want to turn it back over to Amanda, so Amanda can give us our next week finalist.
Thanks, Mimi. Good morning, everybody. I'm Amanda Toy, the Vice President of Membership and Partnerships here at the Michigan Chamber of Commerce. And a special thank you and acknowledgement to you, Mimi Brown. Our messaging that you shared with us and the Michigan Athena community today was not only impactful and inspiring, but I literally had to take a minute just to breathe before I went to close out, because I just think that your message was very strong and so good for hundreds of women and other leaders here in Michigan to hear. In particular, I loved "We become what we believe" and "Let's turn up the volume together." I think it really fits within the philosophy of Michigan Athena. So thank you for sharing your thought leadership with our whole community today. And thank you to those of you who attended today. Hundreds of you, as I'm looking at our attendee list, are already proud members of the Michigan Chamber of Commerce. And for that, I do say thank you. Our sole mission here at the Chamber is to help our members succeed. So if you are interested in joining the Michigan Chamber community, I'd love to hear from you and get you on board. Feel free to reach out to me direct or any of our amazing team members here in Lansing. Again, we can't thank you enough, sponsors. The sponsors of this event are actually supporting all of our Michigan Athena 2023 series this year, and we want to thank you once again. First of all, for our presenting sponsors, Lake Trust and Consumers Energy. Our gold sponsors, Hastings Mutual Insurance Company and Perigo. Our silver sponsors, Ice Mountain and Lansing Board of Water and Light. Our supporting sponsor, West Shore Bank, and our educational sponsor, Davenport University. We appreciate all of you and you supporting the vision of Michigan Athena. And on Davenport being our educational sponsor again this year with Michigan Athena, we want to announce this year's winner of the Davenport Certificate of Management classes. And our winner today is from Perigo. It's Jill Bronkema, and we want to say congratulations. We appreciate your involvement with Michigan Athena, and Leah Robinson, our program director, will get in touch with you, Jill, personally to get you set up for success and make sure that you receive this wonderful life-changing experience coming your way. Two other quick notes. First, we're going to be sending you a survey in your inbox today, so please keep a lookout. We have dynamite interaction today in attendance, and our programming is only as good as hearing from you on what you need and what you want in the future. So please just take a few quick seconds to fill out the survey and give us some valuable feedback. And lastly, if you liked what you heard today from Mimi and some of the themes that were discussed today on the Athena programming, be sure to look out for more upcoming info on the next event. The theme is Your Secret Weapon, Building Emotional Intelligence to Live and Lead. This is another free event that the Michigan Chamber through Michigan Athena will be presenting to you, and it is on Wednesday, May 24th at 10 a.m. So save the date, May 24th. And again, thank you so much for joining us today for our first event, our kickoff for 2023 with Mimi Brown. We are so grateful for all of you in the Michigan Athena community, and we will see you next time.